One moment you're just grabbing a bottle of water, minding your own business after a long day in uniform. The next you're face down on hot concrete, hands cuffed behind your back. Not because you broke the law, but because two cops decided you didn't look like you belonged in those army stripes. Yeah, that actually happened. And let me tell you, what those officers didn't know was that they weren't just messing with any random guy. They were about to get a front row seat to how justice really works when you stand tall and refuse to bow your head. I still remember every second how the sirens exploded out of nowhere, breaking up the quiet afternoon like glass shattering on tile, how the police cruisers flew up to the curb outside the old Maple Street gas station, lights bouncing red and blue across every window, making the place look like a nightclub instead of corner store, how everyone froze, bags of chips halfway to their mouths. And all I wanted was a drink after a full shift out at Fort McPherson. Just a regular pit stop on my way home. That was supposed to be the plan. I was in my Army Reserve uniform, clean, neat, still smelling a little like boot polish, with my name and medals shining right there on my chest. And then these two officers stormed in, looking like they'd already decided how this was going to go. Officer Dean Harper, tall, jaw like he was chewing nails for breakfast, and Officer Greg Simons, shorter but built like a linebacker, both with hands already hovering over their sidearms like this was some kind of showdown in an old Western. Out of the store now, hand where I can see them, Harper bellowed, his voice loud enough to make the ceiling tiles shake. Folks' Paniquita woman dropped her snacks. A guy scribbling lottery numbers ducked behind a rack. Even the cashier hit the floor, everyone except me. I just raised my hands, confused as hell but determined to keep my cool, and said, "Excuse me, officers, what's going on here?" Didn't matter. Harper marched straight up, didn't even let me finish. "You're under suspicion of impersonating military personnel," he spat. That hit me sideways. "I am in the Army," I said, calm as I could manage, but Simons was already on me, twisting my arm back and snapping cold steel around my wrist before I could say another word. My bottle of water clattered to the floor, rolling away unnoticed. "You're making a mistake." I tried again, but Harper just smirked. "Yeah, they all say that." They dragged me outside and forced me to my knees on the sun-baked sidewalk, my uniform pants burning against the concrete. Cars slowed to watch. Folks pointed their phones, some started filming, hoping for drama, I guess. I didn't resist. I just stared straight ahead, holding my head up, thinking about every soldier who ever wore this uniform with pride and knowing deep down, these guys were about to learn a hard lesson. "I'd like to make one phone call," I said quietly. Simon snorted. "To who, your lawyer?" "No," I said, meeting his eyes, "my commanding officer." The two exchanged a glance, shrugged like it was a joke. "Go ahead." So I leaned to one side, still cuffed, somehow managed to get my phone out, tapped one, name Colonel Nathaniel Briggs. It rang twice. "Sir, this is Sergeant Reed. I've been wrongfully detained. They claim I'm impersonating military." The silence on the other end was heavy then, in that slow, deep voice, "Stay there. I'm on my way." I hung up, looked the officers dead in the eye, and said, "Help is coming." They just laughed, the way people do when they think nothing can touch them. But you know what? 7 minutes later, everything changed. 3 black SUVs rolled up, quiet as shadows. They didn't need sirens. The presence was enough. Men in dark suits stepped out, military badges gleaming, uniforms sharp as razors, and suddenly the air in that parking lot was electric. People parted like the Red Sea. Out of the lead SUV stepped Colonel Briggs, tall, silver hair, the kind of walk that told you he didn't waste a second on nonsense. His chest was a wall of ribbons and medals, more than most folks ever see outside a museum. He went straight for the officers, didn't even glance at me at first, just locked eyes with Harper and said, "Which one of you is Harper?" Harper raised his hands low now, not so tough without backup. "I am Colonel Nathaniel Briggs. That man you handcuffed is Sergeant Marcus Reed. He's been serving this country for 11 years. You just put a decorated soldier in cuffs, on a sidewalk, in full uniform." Simon swallowed, stammered, "We thought he was fake. Did you ask for ID?" Briggs shot back, his voice like a hammer. "No, sir. Did you check his badge, his base permit, or even ask his name?" "Nothing." Just two rookies suddenly realizing the ground had shifted beneath their feet. Briggs stepped Claserno shouting, "No threats, just cold, clear authority. You racially profiled one of our own, and now both of you are under federal review for misconduct." That's when a military lawyer stepped forward, handing over papers like it was the final scene in a courtroom drama. "You're being placed on administrative leave, effective immediately. Your badges, weapons, and radios, hand them over." Harper's jaw dropped, stammering, "This is a mistake, the only mistake." Briggs said, so cold it gave me chills, "was thinking you could treat a soldier like a criminal because of the color of his skin." Then he walked over, offered me his hand. "Get up, Sergeant." He pulled me up, dusted off my uniform. This shouldn't have happened, but it will never happen again. The crowd that had gathered outside finally found its voice. A woman clapped. A man shouted, "That's justice!" And all around us, people cheered as Harper and Simons were led away. Not in cuffs, but their faces told the story. Heads down, careers over, reality crashing down hard. My uniform was dusty, sure, but my pride? Untouched. By the next morning, the video was everywhere, in every phone, TV, TikTok, you name it. Hashtag Salute Sergeant Reed was trending. Reporters camped out at the gas station. The story debated on every talk show. The mayor called a press conference, standing on the steps of City Hall, saying, "I want to personally apologize to Sergeant Reed. What happened was unacceptable. Officers Harper and Simons have been terminated, not suspended, not transferred, fired." People cheered again. I watched it from my couch, cereal in hand, finally letting myself smile when she added, "Sergeant Reed is an example of grace, honor, and patience. He deserves our respect, not suspicion." 2 weeks later, I was asked to speak at the police academy. I didn't bring notes, didn't need a script, I just told the truth. Before you put on a badge, remember something? Power doesn't make you right. Listening does. Respect does. You see a black man in uniform. That's not your enemy. That's your brother. Ask before you act. The room was silent then. Slowly, applause rose, real and honest. Back home, I sat on my porch with a glass of sweet tea, watching the sun fade behind the trees, thinking about how I never wanted revenge. What I got was worth more. Respect, justice, and a chance for my story to be heard clear and loud. See, respect isn't a favor you hand out, it's a right, earned, not questioned. In the end, I didn't just clear my name, I reminded folks what real honor looks like, and that sometimes the strongest answer is calm, quiet dignity, holding your head high, even when the world tries to put you on your knees. But let me ask you, what would you have done in my boots? Do you think justice was served? Or does this story just scratch the surface of something deeper in our country? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about what respect, justice, and real accountability should look like for everyone.